Okay, let's jump right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to unpack a massive concept in contract law, specifically looking at the Indian Contract Act of 1872, often just called the ICA. We are going to uncover the absolute vital difference between merely signing a piece of paper and actually genuinely agreeing to what's written on it. Basically, we're talking about free consent and how sometimes a choice is really just an illusion.
So think about this for a second. Does a signature actually guarantee a valid contract? For a lot of beginners or really just anyone in everyday life, the assumption is, well, yeah, you sign on the dotted line and boom, you're locked in. But as our study material reveals, that's actually a huge misconception. A signature is literally just ink on a page. What the law truly cares about is the state of mind behind that ink.
To get why that is, let's look at the foundation. According to Section 14 of the Indian Contract Act, we have this fundamental concept called free consent. Our notes define it super clearly. It's a contract signed by both parties showing complete willingness. And honestly, that phrase right there, complete willingness, is the total heartbeat of a valid contract. It means no one's dragging their feet, nobody's secretly terrified, and no one is being tricked. Both sides actually genuinely want to make this happen. That is the ideal state of an agreement.
Now, what's really fascinating is how the law describes this complete willingness. Section 14 uses this legal Latin term, Consensus-ad-idem. Sounds a bit complicated, right? But our source material breaks it down into a wonderfully simple translation. It simply means both parties are entering the contract with the same level of emotion and the same level of understanding. Just think about that for a moment. Same level of understanding means you both know exactly what the deal is, no hidden catches. And same level of emotion, that means you both feel freely aligned with doing this. You're entirely on the same page, both mentally and emotionally.
Right, so the crucial question is, what happens when that balance just isn't there? Well, directly from our notes, the rule is absolute. If any contract is started without the consent of the other party, it cannot be valid, period. Without that shared emotion and understanding the document is fundamentally useless. It really doesn't matter how official the paper looks or how many stamps are on it. If true free consent isn't there, the whole contract just falls apart.
So that brings us to the breakdown, factors violating free consent.
Because let's be real, we don't live in a perfect world. Our source material provides this really clear tree diagram that maps out exactly what destroys this complete willingness. There are four main branches here. First up, coercion. Second, undue influence. Third is misrepresentation. And that actually splits into fraudulent and innocent misrepresentation. And the fourth branch is mistake, which divides into mistake of law and mistake of fact. If any of these bad boys are present, that consensus-ad-idem we just talked about is totally destroyed.
Now, I know you see all these fascinating flaws on the diagram, like undue influence, misrepresentation, and mistake, but our specific study material for today only provides the detailed definition and mechanics for the very first one, coercion. And since our strict rule is to only use the content provided and never just make things up, we are going to focus our lens entirely on coercion right now. The detailed legal breakdowns of the other three just aren't in today's text. So let's absolutely master the one we do have.
Moving right along to the next section, the threat, understanding coercion.
Let's dive into exactly what this threat is. Here is the literal definition straight from our study notes. Coercion is a situation where a party has negative thoughts to compromise others by threatening or forcing them against the law. You really have to notice the dramatic shift in the language here. A few minutes ago, we were talking about complete willingness and same level of emotion. Now, we're talking about negative thoughts, compromising, and forcing. It's a complete hijacking of the other person's free will.
To make this super easy to digest, like we're just learning it for the first time, let's break that definition down into 3 steps. How does someone actually commit coercion? Well, step 1 starts right in their head, having negative thoughts or intentions toward the other person. Step 2 is the goal itself, compromising the other party. That means putting them in a corner where they feel they have zero choice but to give in. And step 3 is the actual action, threatening and forcing them using methods that break the law. We aren't talking about intense business negotiation here. We're talking about illegal, forceful pressure.
When you put all those steps together, the impact is total destruction. Force, threats, and negative intentions completely obliterate that same level of emotion and understanding required for a valid agreement under Section 14. You simply cannot have true consensus when one person is acting out of pure legal fear. The willingness is broken,
meaning the consent was just an illusion the whole time.
Which leaves us with one final, incredibly important question to think about. Without true free consent, what is your contract really worth? Well, as our material made crystal clear today, if it's born from coercion, from illegal threats and forced compromise, the answer is absolutely nothing. The paper might have a signature, but the law knows that true agreement happens in the mind. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to always look beyond the signature.